Shade by Ahoy. This is The Truth May Hurt. My name is Raymond Witcher and I am your host. The last few videos I've been using music, and it just came to me. One song came to me and I decided to, I'm gonna use this as my background and blend it in with the message in my message in my video. And I have two songs that I have chosen, okay, that I'm gonna use in this video that are directly associated with what I'm trying to present here on The Truth May Hurt. The issues that all blacks have had all around the world dealing with colonialism, enslavement, racism, bigotry, these kind of things. So back in the 60s and the 70s, blacks really got an opportunity to get a lot of music out because Motown came up. It was avenues and vehicles for black artists to write their own songs, to get their own music and get it on the radio. And it was, we had come into the age that we had communication. We had radio, FM radio stations that could reach more people. So I'm gonna try to reach more people by using some of these songs in my video. I think it helps with the message. So the two songs that I've chosen at the beginning, I'm getting ready to play for you now, is Ship Ahoy by the OJs. Very powerful message, and it goes back to the beginning of our struggle. Okay, but it's because it's talking about the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, so I'm gonna start that, and then I'm gonna end this video with the famous revolutionary song by Bob Marley, War. Okay, because everywhere, Bob says everywhere's gonna be war. Okay, and he's telling the truth. Okay, so I'm gonna see what year. I think it was written back in 76, 77. And that's where we are now. Okay, when we look at what Donald Trump is doing and this administration and what Donald Trump has gotten the whole world involved in now with what he did in Iran, we're at that point. Because until everyone is liberated, there's gonna be war. Okay, I'm gonna get into that then in the video, but let's get this started with the OJs. Okay, the reason I'm starting with the OJs and the reason I chose this song by the OJs, which is titled Ship Ahoy, is because this song represents, in the way they did this song, it represents the start of the transatlantic slave trade. It starts, it is the beginning of the start of our 500-year nightmare, torture, and just suffering. Okay, now the way they did this song, and what I would like for you to do is to put yourself back, because this song has a lot of feelings and emotions in it. This song is about pain and suffering of our ancestors being ripped up by their roots. And if you go back and watch my video, a comprehensive look at Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 9. I did a reverse word search on it. And when you reread it, it's talking about this. It's talking about how these Europeans came into Africa. They ripped us up by our roots. They took us to a place that we could never return. They just ripped us apart. And they said that we're going to take you from your land and put you in a hell. It says that, and I can prove it. Or you can just go back into my YouTube channel. If you go onto my YouTube page, this is the video I would like for you to watch. Genesis chapter 11, verses 1 through 9, using the Hebrew definition inserted into the verses. So what I did was, I went backwards. I reverse word searched the words, the English words to the Hebrew word. I took the Hebrew definition, inserted it into the verse and reread it. And that's where it actually said that we're going to pull these Africans up from their root and their homeland, because we were so connected. It says that we didn't even have to talk, because what I knew or what I wanted or thought, everybody else knew. Okay, but they were going to rip us up from that. And it actually says that they're going to make us white. It actually says that. They said, you go to Genesis chapter 11, and when you read the verse that says, let us make brick, and you reverse what does brick mean, brick means white. So it's not talking about building a building, it's talking about making the Africans white. So when it comes down to us being able to understand this, you got to dig deep. Okay, so this is why I chose this song, Ship Ahoy. Ship Ahoy is what sailors say when the ship is getting ready to pull off, and they're going on their journey, they're going on their voyage. This song is singing the song. The song is singing about our pain and suffering when it started, when we were placed on these ships. And you can hear the pain and suffering in their voices when they sing this song. So I want you to let this song take you back to what happened to our ancestors when this all began, and it went on for over 250 years. 250 years, that's how long it went on. And it has never ended. The only thing that ended is the transatlantic slave trade. Yes, slavery ended, but did it really? Because as long as they can put you in jail, you're still a slave, and the Constitution tells you that. So we're gonna look at this song. We're gonna listen to this song, and I just want you to listen to the lyrics, because this is when it all started. Okay, this is when they were putting us on that bottom of the boat. Now imagine yourself down there. Each person is chained to each other. You weren't allowed to get up. You're stretched out on a little wooden thing laying on your back, and you're chained together. You can't get up. You don't get a bathroom break. Think about your ancestors, about what they did to them. When they did it to them, genetically they did it to us. Okay? And when you try to show black people this, they want to forget all about this because they're too busy praying, because they think they got a white savior coming to save them named Jesus. Do you know the first slave ship to sail into Africa was named Jesus? The first. Matter of fact, there was a slave ship named Jesus before there was a Jesus in the Bible. Listen at the pain. Yes, we're tired. Just remember, there is nothing about colonialism and enslavement that showed mercy. They didn't show mercy anywhere they went. Look at what they did to us. And you want to forget this. Look at this, what they did to us. Look at the bullwhips that you used to beat cattle. See the bullwhip under his arm? Look at us. You got your arms chained behind your back. Look at us. What they did to us. Look at these black Africans on the slave ship. And you were made to sleep in your own feces, your own urine. The women had to sleep in their feces, their urine, and their menstrual cycle. Disease killing them. in these ships. Look at how they packed us in. So when the Bible says that we will pull up by our roots and take it to a land that we couldn't return, and it literally says that they put us in a hell, a Hell. So Christianity has us more worried about dying going to hell than looking at, realizing, and trying to get out of the hell they put us in. They would never give you a God to save you from this. Look at the picture. Look at the misery, the pain, and the suffering. Now imagine what it was under the bottom of these ships, where they wouldn't feed you. They'll throw you overboard. You're talking about ruthless people that don't have any better heart today than they had when they did this. And just look around you at the evidence. They take pride and joy in calling you a nigger today because Donald Trump is empowering them. The Supreme Court protects them, and it wants to put us back into this. Crack your whip. But I got news for you. We're not going back. We know what you plan to do. Look at what they did to us. I'm tired too. I'm tired of this. Look at what they did to us. The ancestors asked my ancestors to tell me, to show you this and wake you up. Look at what they did to us. When Jesus said, if you know your master's will and don't do your master's will, to leave many stripes, those were the stripes that left on the backs of the slaves and the Africans when they tied us to the whipping posts. They read that verse. Okay? So your ancestors, they're probably the ones that brought this song to me. I haven't heard this song in years. And it came to me. Look at what they did to us. Look at what they still are trying to do to us. And you want to raise your kids up believing in Santa Claus. And they got a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, white savior that did this to us. Listen, a slave and a master can't have the same God. And that God answers both of their prayers. Now, you got a master praying for slavery and more slaves, and you got slaves praying for freedom and an end to slavery. Look at what they did to us. Okay? Look at what they did to us. Okay? And we want to act like it didn't happen or turn the other cheek. See, that's why turn the other cheek is in the Bible. To keep you forgiving them for what they did. Okay? See, we're damaged. And slavery, it takes more than just slavery ending, Jim Crow ending, for us to be able to say that we've recovered, because we don't know what's going on. And this song came to me, it came up, and I'm gonna give a few minutes to this, and then we're gonna move on. But we don't know what's going on. And Marvin Gaye, he's saying, what's going on? We've been taught to hate each other than to love each other. Okay? And it's a problem. Okay? Because this is in our nature. So in the process of programming us, they have programmed us to be like them, to the point that we're killing each other, to the point that they don't have to kill us. Listen, you know what's going on? You know what's going on? This song is, the message is so powerful. I just had to play a little bit. You know, we can't conquer with the hate that's in our communities, the hate that's going on in between the black man and the black woman. This is called social engineering. Okay? Listen, our luck isn't that bad that all of these things keep happening to us. It is social engineering. We got to see what's going on. And the biggest fundamental part of it is Christianity and a white Jesus. They have blinded us, and we're blinding ourselves by refusing to look at the evidence, by refusing to look at the truth. Okay? It's impossible for... The reason we can't change our situation is because we're in a system that hasn't changed. It's not going to give us a chance. This system wasn't designed to give us a chance. The system was designed to make us slaves, and they're pissed off that we escaped. Listen. We gotta find a way. That's what I'm trying to do. Hey, don't get mad at me because I'm showing you things you haven't seen. Get pissed off at the people that never showed you. You know? Listen. You need to see what's going on and accept it. You're not going to pray your way out of this. You've been praying for 500 years. 500. To this God they gave us that looks like them. That's allergic to the sun. Now imagine, God created a son, his son, this story of theirs. Look at it. God created a white, pale-skinned man with blonde hair and blue eyes with genetic defects that's allergic to the S-U-N that shines in the sky, that gives everything on earth life. And they're allergic. This God is allergic to the S-U-N, just like the white people are that wrote that Bible. It's just a fact. Okay? It's just a fact. So we're gonna fade this one out, and we're gonna keep it moving. Okay? Because I got a lot of things to show you. So out of everything that they've taken out of Africa, they haven't touched it. They haven't touched the resources, the natural resources that are still in the ground, and the natural things that Africa has, the things that they can't do without, because all of their riches, all of their everything is based on robbing Africa, robbing African Americans in America. So what we're really looking at now is exactly what has to happen, and is exactly what happens when you're changing from one astrology age to another astrology age. We just ended Pisces, and we are in the age of Aquarius now. So, this is 18 minutes, okay. So, we're seeing the change of power, the New World Order. If you look up the New World Religion, you'll see that there's a new world religion that's coming out. So what I'm telling you is, this whole colonial system has to crumble for this system to change, and we're getting ready to watch it crumble. Because the United States and the European countries, they are at a panic. This is a panic stage for them because they don't want to give this up. Okay? They don't want to give this up. And we're not going back. Africa's not going back. When neocolonialism ended, the French wanted to negotiate with them another version of neocolonialism. You're not coming back. Okay? We don't want to have anything to do with you. The only thing we want you to do is leave us alone. You have portrayed us and put us in the positions to be exactly what you portrayed us to be. Poor. Their whole system is that you guys are supposed to be poor. You're supposed to get your reward in heaven. Well, you know what? We woke up. We're getting ours now. From this point forward, for the next 2,160 years, during the time of Aries, no, we're not going back. Okay? So they're getting ready to crumble. A whole new power structure is getting ready to evolve. China's going to be the world leader. You know, you can say what you want to say about China. Yeah, they're a communist country, but they haven't invaded anybody. They haven't dropped a bomb. They haven't personally dropped a bomb on anyone. Okay? They haven't enslaved anybody's people. Okay? They're the only ones and the main ones showing up in the African countries offering assistance and aid. Now, it's different in Africa and the Caribbean countries because Africa can pay them back. Okay, and in the next 15 to 20 years, Africa won't need to borrow a dime from anybody. Period. They'll be loaning money. But Africa is building allies, is what I'm saying. They're building allies, and the United States is not one of them. Not one European nation is considered an ally to Africa. And we're talking about 54 nations. Not one European nation is really considered an ally of any of the Caribbean nations. Not an ally. There still may be some political partnering or political ways that they work together. But all of that's getting ready to change because the African nations is going to be able to empower the 14 Caribbean nations, and they won't need you. They won't need you for anything. So what you're watching is their greed and their lust and their zero compassion for the world, that hardened heart that they have, and the arrogance that they have today in 2026. I mean, I'm hearing white people call black people nigger every day on the street. Not me personally, me seeing it or hearing it, but it's all over the social media. And not just that, I'm seeing these arrogant white men walk up to black women and putting their hands on them. Okay? Black women, you got your concealed carry permit? Black men, you don't have to be my wife, my woman, for me to step in to make a white man get his ass off of you. If I see it, I'm coming. I'm not going to stand around and watch a white man put his hands on a black woman or insult and assault a black woman. Just can't do it. Can't do it. Man up. I'm 70 years old. Man up. Okay, so all of this is going to crumble. It's not going to be long. It's not going to be long. Okay? So because they have no more resources. They have bills to pay too. So what we're looking at is desperate people. Well, the elitists of the European race are desperate. Not necessarily so much that they're going to be poor, because they're billionaires. They're up there. They'll still be able to survive, but they're not going to be able to keep passing on this generational wealth that they've been able to continuously accumulate through colonialism, slavery, and oppression, because they're going to be the ones now that aren't at the top. And because of the collapse of neocolonialism, you do a search on are the European nations economically struggling post-neocolonialism, is yes. Economic struggles in Europe after neocolonialism. The term neocolonialism refers to the continuation of imperial influence in the post-colonial world, where former colonies remain economically dependent on former colonial powers or new global economic leaders. We've just been being passed around because nobody in Africa up until recently was benefiting from all of their resources. Europe was. While the European nations themselves are not post-colonial in the same sense as Africa or Asia states, the legacy of colonialism and its modern iterations, such as debt dependency, unequal trade, and financial control, still shape their economic relationship and global influence. So that this is what shapes them. Okay, how neocolonialism impacts economies. Historically, colonial powers extracted raw material and built economic geared toward exporting to the metropole while importing finished goods. After independence, many former colonies remain tied to former colonial powers. They have always kept us tied to them. We need them, but we have all of the things that are making you wealthy. But see, what they would do is they would take out the raw materials. They wouldn't let Africa is just starting to be able to process their raw materials. Even things like coffee. Those coffee was sent to Ireland. Ireland is who processed the coffee, put it in bags, and put it on the market to sell. Not Africa. The gold, all of the cobalt, all of these raw materials, there are no processing plants in Africa that could process these things. They were sent out to Europe and all of the European nations. The European nations would process it, make all of the money for the finished material, and Africa didn't get anything. I can't say all, most of the things in the grocery stores in Africa and stuff, they come from France or somewhere in Europe. Okay, so this is the kind of control that neocolonialism had on Africa. Now that neocolonialism is dead in Asia and Africa, the economic disadvantage is on them. Okay? Unequal trade platforms, exporting primary commodities and imported manufactured goods from Europe or North America. See, they're getting all of their finished products from Europe and North America. They're the financial control, monetary banking dominance. They dominated everything. Okay? So because everything had to be bought in the trade by the American dollar. So they would have to borrow money from either the American banks or the European banks to do business. Okay? And all of that's ending. And their whole structure is collapsing. Okay, so when we're talking about how this domino effect is happening, okay, economic struggles in Europe, while Europe is not in the same structural dependency as post-colonial states, it faces its own economic challenges. Debt burden. Many Europe countries have high public debt, partly inherited from the E-zone crisis. Global competition. Rising economies in Asia and Africa are challenging Europe's trade and investment dominance. See, the nations that these European Christians carrying their Bibles, smiling with the missionaries and the warm handshakes, everywhere that they went and they colonized and punished the people, are recovering now. They're waking up and they're recovering. And because they're the reason that Europe had to, One of the main reasons Europe had to go around and colonize everybody is because Europe doesn't have resources. The other part is greed. Okay? And if they had just done the right thing, everybody could have had a good relationship. But no, God made you to be poor and broke, and for us to be rich and wealthy, and you get your rewards in heaven. But it's coming back to bite them in that ass. Energy and climate pressure. Okay, conclusion. Neocolonialism's legacy is not confined to former colonies. It is embedded in the global economic system that Europe still practices. While Europe's own economic struggles are shaped by domestic and global factors, the historical and structural inequalities of colonialism, such as unequal trade, debt dependency. See, they keep you in debt. Like France, when they had control of colonies in Africa, France would only pay Africa. And still today, I think Africa functions on the French currency. Well, the French currency isn't worth anything in France. If you were to take French currency in the bank in France, they would charge you to process. That's how worthless it is. So when it's talking about financial dependency and financial control, continue to influence its economic power and vulnerability. See, their vulnerability is now that China, Russia, Brazil, Korea, and all of these nations are coming together to form their own currency for trade, their economy will collapse without that. Okay, and once it collapses, it's really not recoverable. Okay. Addressing these legacies will require reforms in global financial governance, trade policies, and investment strategies to reduce asymmetries and strengthen economy sovereignty. But see, nobody wants to do business with you now. Who's going to want to do business with you and trust you and your missionaries with your Bible? Nobody. You see, when colonialism ended, they came in with neocolonialism. So all of the African nations and the Asian nations that they colonized had to function under this scam system. Many post-colonial states, especially in Africa and parts of Asia. See, we're recovering now. Okay, we saw that on the previous page. Right, in Africa and parts of Asia and Latin America continue to face significant economic challenges even after formal independence due to the persistence of neocolonial economic structures and global market pressures. Neocolonialism and dependency theory argues that former independence did not remove economic control from the former colonizers. See, they're determined to keep their foot on your neck. They're determined to keep us down. Now, I found there's a sister on Facebook that I'm friends with. I can't remember her name. I was trying to find where she posted this on Facebook, but this sister, she has her own black business. She's doing good. And I met her up in a place where I go see a lot of the black African historians. And I saw this on her page today, and it says, if God is good and powerful, why would colonizers introduce him to the people they oppressed? That makes no sense. If God truly helps the powerless, if he sides with the broken, if he liberates the captives, why hand him to our enemies? Why hand this God to our enemies if he does all of these things? If we are the people that they're trying to control, they wouldn't give us a God to break that control. They would give us a God to maintain that control. That would be the most dangerous thing you could do. You would be aiming them against you. You would be arming them against you. This is a small amount, my vision is bad. But they did not fear that God because they knew the God they were handing over was not the God who would free us, who would free the slaves. He was the God who keeps, let me blow this up a little bit, see if I can see that. Keeps them quiet. He will be the God that keeps them quiet, the God who tells them to obey their masters, the God who promises paradise later so that you do not fight for justice. They knew exactly what they were giving us. It was not a weapon. It was a sedative to keep us asleep, to keep us sedated. If the colonizers truly believed in a God who punishes oppressors and lifts the oppressed, they would have kept him hidden. They wouldn't have given us that God. They would have made sure the slaves never heard his name. If Jesus was going to save you and free you, you would have never heard about Jesus. All right? They would have buried the Bible. They would have burned the Bibles because their God was never a threat to them. He was an ally. He was an ally to this process of slavery. And they gave him to the colonizers so that he could work for them. He worked, listen, a slave and the master can't serve the same God. And that God answers both of their prayers. Now you have the slave master praying for slavery and more slaves, and you have the slaves praying for freedom. You tell me which one of the prayers this God answered. He didn't answer our ancestors. He's not answering yours. And if you're not careful, we're in big trouble. That is the proof. If God were good, they would have been afraid to share him. If he were just, they would have kept him for themselves. But they did not, because they knew their God was safe and keep their system in place. He would not bless the oppressed. He would not curse the oppressor. He would not change the order. He would protect it. To give him away like a gift, they gave him away like a gift because he was never a threat to them. That is not the God of justice. This is a God of control. They knew exactly what they were doing. Okay? So now, listen to me. Now, when we were talking about the inner city, the projects, the ghettos, the black neighborhoods, what do all of these have in common? You have churches on every other corner, sometimes churches across the street, liquor stores across the street, there in the street. You're not going to have to, if you're in the inner city, you're not going to have to go more than 2 or 3 blocks and it's a liquor store. You're not going to have to go more than 1 or 2 blocks or turn 1 or 2 corners. You got a church. Black people deposit $252 million every week in a white bank. Maybe some of them have a black bank, but it's $252 million that goes out of the black church into a bank every week. That's over $1 million a month that our belief and faith in this God has us giving. 10% of everything you make. It's a pimp. A prostitute or a whore, because this isn't real. Okay? And we've been used, abused, beaten, hung, enslaved. When are we going to wake up and accept the fact that this isn't our God? If this God were our God, with as many churches that we have in the black communities, especially the project areas and the ghettos, things would have changed in these neighborhoods. You tell me, you go back into some of the neighborhoods that you know or that you knew or maybe grew up in, unfortunately, and tell me what's different. Tell me what looks better. Tell me what's changed. Tell me where all of this money went that came out of these neighborhoods. It did not go into changing the community, It did not go into helping people get out of their situation, because everybody says, oh, you got to do. See, you give your money to the church, you give your 10%, then you fall on bad times or worse times because you're probably already in bad times if you're in the church. And you go to the church and say, I'm getting ready to lose my house. I need some money. I'm having a medical emergency and I need financial help. And the church is going to tell you, we're going to pray for you. God, he's going to show up for you. Well, why don't he show up when you need to put a roof on the church? Why doesn't God show up when you need to you want to add on to the church? Well, see, God say, I don't dwell in temples made by hands. But when you walk into the church, they say, welcome to the house of the Lord. Bullshit. God say, this God, this mythical God say, I don't dwell in temples made by hands. So everything that the church is doing, saying and proclaiming about this is God's house is a lie. Or the Bible is a lie. Somebody's lying. Okay, so what I'm saying is they would not give us a God to protect us from them, to save us from them, to destroy and bring down and collapse the colonial system that they put in place that made them filthy rich while keeping all of the nations, the black nations. See, because Asia is a black nation. Well, yeah, Asia is a black nation. The only people on earth that are natural to the earth are the ones that are doing this to us because they don't have a relationship with nature. I told you on a previous video that Ivanka Trump and her husband and some of their friends were on a yacht off of Albania. And she said she discovered an island and that they were going to build resorts for the wealthy on that island. Well, the reason that the island doesn't have anything on it is because it is a wildlife sanctuary. And that supports what I just said. They do not have any respect for nature. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If you have a real dark-skinned black man right here, I mean, he's dark, he's rotar black, he's blue black, he's burgundy black, because you know we can have tints, external tints to our skin, which means something, not going to get into that. But you have a dark-skinned, melanated black man here, and you have a white man here that can't tan. Which one of these has the weak genetics? Which is it, the dark-skinned black man that is genetically inferior, or is the pale white-skinned man genetically inferior? Which one of these genes, which one of these men are carrying a deficient genetic code? The dark-skinned man or the light-skinned man? So it's only one population on earth that carries these genes, and it's called the white race. And they only are 13% of the population, and they have dogged everybody that's not white. And the white people that don't agree with them, they dog each other too. Listen, they have not done anything but fight. All the way, I know, from the year 500 AD. From the year 500 AD till now, they've done nothing but fighting. Okay, so they've never gotten along with themselves. From the year 500 AD up until now, for the first 1,000 years, from 500 AD to 1500, it was called the Dark Ages, is when it was dark because they were erasing everything. They were erasing all of our history. They were burning down books, the libraries, killing people. Okay, so now remember who they put on the 3 ships out of Europe to sail to America. They were the scum of Europe. They were the troublemakers. They were, who they didn't want. Okay, they cleaned the jails. They got rid of what they considered their scum, and they even made laws to get rid of who they didn't want in Europe. They made ridiculous laws, like it was illegal to drink coffee on the street. If they did, they'd give you 5. I'm using coffee as an example. It may have been spitting on the street. You get 5 years, or you can get on the ship and get out of the country. That's how they populated America. By making ridiculous laws, locking people up, giving the people a choice of either going to jail or going to America to build America. Okay, so they have the history. They've never gotten along with anybody, and everywhere they've gone, they've never left it a better place. None of the indigenous people benefited from anything. So when we're talking about these things, what do you expect now that they're desperate again? Okay, because they're going to collapse. Okay, I want to show you something, and then we're going to get ready to get out of here. But everybody that is a believer is waiting on Jesus, okay? And we hear everybody, preachers, everybody saying he's on his way back. He'll be here soon. You know, he's on his way back. They believe that. They have faith in that. Okay, well, let's go to Matthew chapter 10 and read verses 5 through 8. We're in the King James Version, okay? These 12 Jesus sent forth and commanded them, saying, go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into the city of the Samaritans, enter ye not, but go rather to the lost sheep, go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Now, verse 7, pay attention. And as ye go, preach, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, cleanse the leper, raise the dead, cast out devils. Freely ye have received, freely give. Okay? Now, he's saying raise the dead again. Okay? Let's go to the NIV. Now it says here, verse 7, and as ye go, preach saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. At hand means it's right here. This means that you're so close, I can touch it. Okay, at hand. Okay, when you go to the NIV and you read verse 7, and it says, as you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven has come near. So at hand means near. That means you're right here. Okay, now, if this is historical, everybody that's a believer that's waiting on Jesus, he's come and left you. See, here's the problem. People will read the Bible and they lose contact with the speaker and the listener. And they get it screwed up and believe that the verses are talking to us, that it's talking to me. The people in church will hear this scripture read and they'll believe like Jesus just said this today. He didn't. He said it 2,026 years ago. So, either Jesus is the very, very slow God. He's the sloth. He just hasn't gotten here yet. Or he's come and gone if it's historical. Because the people, the Christians, the preachers, everybody is saying the same thing today that the disciples said when Jesus told them that. All the way from when the time Jesus told them this, which was the Last Supper, everybody that they saw on their way to the house of Israel, this is what they were saying to them. This is what he said, preach this to them, proclaiming this message, that you can count on the fact that he'll be here like that. Because, brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, 2,026 years have passed since he said this. It's 2,026 years, and people are still saying today the same thing the disciples said 2,026 years ago. And you can count on the word of God. Well, there it is. What did he say? He said, as you go, proclaim this message. The kingdom of heaven is near. Where he at? He ain't, well, yeah, well, hold on. Let's keep it in context. He didn't write this for us. No, maybe he came and, the white people got it. I don't know. But he ain't showed up for black people. He hasn't. So here's where we are. Until the philosophy which holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war, me say again. Until there are no longer first-class and second-class citizens of any nations, until the color of a man's skin is no more significant than the color of his eyes, me say war. Until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all, regardless to race, this a war. Until that day, the dreams of lasting peace, world citizenship, rule of international morality will remain in a fleeting illusion to be pursued, but never attained. Now, everywhere is war. Until the ennobled and happy regime that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique, South Africa, subhuman bondage have been toppled, utterly destroyed. Well, where is war, me say? All right? War in the East, war in the West, war up north, war down south, war, rumors of war. Until that day, the African continent will not know peace. The African continent will not know peace. We Africans will fight. We will find it necessary. And we know we shall win, as we are confident in the victory of good over evil. Good over evil. I'm gonna let my man sing this to you, okay? I'm gonna let Bob, one of the first real messengers that did not fear the system, let him sing it to you. Because we have been at war 500 years. And we don't have soldiers that want to fight because they're doing this too much. They believe in the colonizer system of God, who a savior come down from the sky, gonna rescue you from them.
The philosophy which hold one race superior and another inferior is finally,
gotta bring it down,
and permanently.
Why would you want to stay in something
and
that was designed to destroy you, to keep you in bondage? We're in war.
This your war.
It's right here.
And until there's no longer first class nor second class citizens of any nation,
I'm not going to be a second class no more.
Until the color of a man's skin is of no more significance to the color of his eyes.
See what, Bob?
Say war.
Yeah, war. We've been in it.
And until the basic human rights are equally guaranteed to all without regard to race, this your war. Cause until that day, the dream of lasting peace, world citizenship, and the rule of international morality will remaining but a fleeting illusion to be pursued, but never attained. Well, everywhere is war. This your war. War in the east, war in the west, war up north, war down south. This a war.
Only thing they know is war.
And until the ignoble and unhappy regime that hold our brothers in Angola, in Mozambique, South Africa, yeah, subhuman bondage, yeah, has been toppled, yeah, utterly destroyed. Well, everywhere is war.
Gotta wanna fight.
It's your war.
Fight for your freedom.
War.
Fight for your children's freedom, your grandchildren's freedom. It is a war. What do you think it is? What do you think we've been in for the last 500 years?
Rumors of war.
Your ancestors fought.
Until that day,
We don't want to fight.
the African continent will not know peace. We Africans will fight. We find it necessary. We know we shall win. We are confident in the victory of good over evil, of good over evil, of good over evil. Well, everywhere is
Really go out hard on this song right here. Check out our bass guitar player there, and the red shirt and the white pants. Watch him. All they know is war. You're not getting out of this without fighting this war. And they're showing us every day that they are confident they're gonna walk up in your face and call you a nigga.
until the philosophy which old one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned. Well, everywhere is war. Everywhere is war. Everywhere is war. Everywhere is war. Hey, hey, we don't.
The bass guitar player.
We don't need
Check him out.
no more trouble.
He playing it. No, he playing lead, not the bass.
No more trouble.
We never been looking for trouble. We never start this fight, but it have to be a fight.
No, 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 no. No more trouble. No more troubles. No more troubles. We don't need. Oh no. Oh no. No more trouble. We don't need. Oh no, no, no. No more trouble. No more trouble. I tell you what we need is love to guide and protect us on. If you're up, look down from above. Help the weak if you are strong. We don't need no trouble. Stop. What we need is love. We don't. Oh no, 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 no.
Check out our bass. Now the lead
No
guy.
more trouble, no more troubles, no more. No more troubles, you know. Oh, no, 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 no. No more trouble. No more trouble. I say, speak happiness. You're sad enough without your woes. Come on and speak of love. Sad enough without your foes. Hey. We don't need no trouble. No. What we need is what we need is just love. We don't down. No more trouble. We don't need no more trouble.
All right, we're getting ready to get on out of here. But we didn't start the trouble. But it is a fight. So, unless you just want to lay down and give up, you're going to have to fight. We've been on a war for 500 years. Our ancestors fought. They fought hard. And we just bending down on our hands and knees in church. Okay? So we're going to get on out of here. And I'm going to say Ashe. Everybody, have a good day. If nobody's told you they love you today, I do. And make sure you tell somebody you love them too and mean it when you say it.